Now, we all know that AI has been changing the game, and it's not simply about writing some fancy text or creating an image. What if you can generate unlimited UGC ad creatives without having to hire a single UGC creator, mail out a single product, and still have high converting ads that thrive on every single ad platform? And thanks to Google Gemini 2.5 Flash, or as we call it, NanoBanana, this is now possible. In this video, I'm going to go over my N8N system that takes your influencer photo and turns that into high converting, high performing image and video ads. I'll go over the full setup all the way from image creation to video generation and give you all the resources that you need to set this up. Let's dive in. So here we can see our completed workflow, but first things, let's kick this off with a demo. So over here, we can see that our workflow starts with Telegram. So I'm just going to head over to Telegram. So now we're in Telegram and let's just test out the system to see exactly how it works. So first thing, I'm just going to upload an image into Telegram. And this is the first image I want to upload. And as we can see, our agent replies with, "What would you like me to name the photo in your Google Drive?" So we're just going to save this image to Google Drive and we want to name it Anne. And why we're renaming it is because when we save this image into Google Drives, it usually names it with the exact timestamp, maybe today's date. And we want to be able to reference these images later along the line when we want to start editing our pictures and doing all the awesome works with our images. So we want to make sure that we're able to identify them correctly and properly. Next, let's add a second image. So this is the second image that we want to be in our creative. And now I'm just adding this image of this Coke bottle and we're going to use it to create our creative. So I'm going to send that off as well. But before we rename this, I just want to show you guys what I was talking about when I talked about the timestamps. So coming over here, we can see the picture and then we can see this other picture that has this timestamp. So now we want to rename that. So coming back to Telegram, we're going to rename the photo Coke. And now the agent has renamed that. And just to show us that this was actually renamed, let's go back and verify if everything's good to go. And as we can see, it's been renamed and we can start now creating our creative. So now I simply wanted to create an image where we have Anne holding this bottle and maybe a really nice scenery that we can then use for our video creative. So here I have our message which says, "Please create an image using the images in the Google Drive and in Coke to create an image creative that is to be used for an ad where Anne is holding the Coke bottle sat in a nice scenery." I'm just going to spell Anne correctly and we're just going to send that off. And here we can see our response and we have a link that we can use to then view this image. So let's click on that link and see what our system has generated for us. And here we can see the ad creative that it has created with Anne in this beautiful scenery with a bottle of Coke in her hands. And as we can see, it got the Coca-Cola spelling correctly, although it did mix up the positioning of the classic and the Coca-Cola as opposed to our original picture, which was having the classic right on top with the Coca-Cola right below it. But overall, this doesn't look bad. It looks really clean. It looks really sharp. And next, let's generate a video with this particular picture to see how that video creative comes out. So here we just have the message as, "Use the new image that you created with Anne and Coke to create a video ad creative that could be used for a high-performing code advertisement. And I want Anne to be talking about how much she likes Coke or how much she loves Coke." And the thing here is because in our system, we use memory. So this system is able to remember what it did last. So it can just go there and reference that exact picture that it just created. So let's just send that off. Awesome. And now we have our response. So let's check out this link and see how the video is. So here's the video. Let's hit play.
Hi, I'm Anne. Nothing beats that first refreshing sip of Coke. It's crisp, uplifting, and instantly puts a smile on my face.
Okay. I really like that because you can see, like, as she moves her hand, the water in the Coke bottle is moving. So it's like more realistic. So I really like that. And I think we should test out generating a second video just to see how that one would turn out. So I'm just going to come back to Telegram and I'm just going to say, generate me another video with the same picture of Anne and Coke and just see how that is going to turn out as well. Awesome. So we have our message, generate another video with the combined picture of Anne and Coke that can be used for a Coke ad. It should be high quality and in the format that would be high converting for a short ad. And let's send that over. And as we can see our Google Drive link and let's check out that second video.
It's not just a Coke, it's a moment. Real taste, meant to share.
And that is it. Now let's dive in and see exactly how we can build this. So now looking at our workflow starts off here with this Telegram trigger, and then it has gone to a switch. So here in the switch, we see two branches. And in the first branch, we have the photo. And in the second branch, we have the text. So depending on the kind of input we get, this switch is able to direct that input to the different paths. So for a text, it goes directly to our AI agent. And for the photo, we have to first download the file. After we download the file, we want to upload that file. So coming into our Google Drives, so here we have two folders. The first folder is called Add Media. And this is basically where we put those initial pictures that we will use to generate this ad. And then we have a second one, which is AI generated media. So this is where the AI then puts all the generated content so we can come over here and view that as well. Next, after uploading that file into our ad media, we then set text and then we go over to our AI agent. And here we have access to a variety of tools. So our first tool is this update name tool, which is a tool that updates the name of the file so we can easily identify it. Next, we have retrieve raw files, and that basically just retrieves the files in the ad media. So those plain raw files that we're giving to the system to then make this AI generated ads for us. Next, we have find images, and then find images is just used to be able to find the images when we give the image title. And we also have three other tools that are built out in separate workflows. The first one is merge images. So this basically helps us take one image and the other and merge them together to create a new image. We also have image editor. So let's say you just have one image and you want to edit that image. Maybe, for example, add something from that image, remove something from that image. Then image editor is able to do that. And we also have video generator. So here we use VEO3 to be able to then generate these videos that we will be using for our ad creatives. And coming over here, the model we'll be using is GPT-5 mini. So you can see that over here. We also have Sonnet as a backup model that we can use. And we also have our simple memory that is connected as well. So let's look at this nose one by one and see exactly what's happening here. So coming here to our Telegram trigger, first thing you have to do, you have to connect your credentials. And right below this video in the resources, I'm going to leave a video where you can watch and understand exactly how to do this. Next, you want to make sure that this trigger on is on message. And for the next steps, we have our switch. So we're handling two types of data here, two types of inputs. The first one is the text and the first one is the photo. So first, to handle the photo, we have json.message.photo and we have this as exists. And then we just want to rename that as photo. And then we have this one as well, and we want that as exists, and we want to rename that as text. And how you can go about adding this is you just come here and you tap on add a routing rule, and you basically just put in the value over here. You change this to whatever data type we need, and then you put the second value if needed. But in our case, we don't need it. So when you just do, for example, exist, that will automatically go away. Then you toggle this green and you simply just rename your output over there. So that is how this works. I'm just going to delete that. And next we have download file. So we want to download that image that we just got. So coming over here to download file, we can see here you connect your credentials and it's exactly the same way with Telegram. And you want the resource to be file, you want the operation to be get, And basically you want to toggle this as expression, and this is the value that you want to put in there. And you just want this to be toggled green to download. Next, we have upload files. So here you also want to connect those credentials, and your credentials here will be the credentials for your Google account. Next, you want the resource to be file, you want the operation to be upload, and this input data field name, you just want that to be data. For the file name, you just want to put it in this format, and you just want to select your parent drive. So basically your Google Drive, and the parent folder is the raw folder. So the folder where you want all those initial pictures, those initial images to go in, then you just want to select that over here. Next, we have this set text, and here we just want to set the message text that we're going to send to the AI agents. So we have the user just submitted a picture. Here is the ID of what that file is in Google Drives. And here we just have that JSON.id. Coming next, we can see that these two things feed into here, and we have this add creative generator agent. So coming into our agent, first we want the search for prompt to be defined below. And the prompt, we just want it to be JSON.message.text. And here we just want to enable a fallback model, because in the case that maybe our model fails or crashes, then we want to have another alternative that we can use in this case. And for a system message, I'm just going to make this bigger. We have it saying the overview over here, and then we just have the tools that we have access to, and we tell it exactly how we wanted to use those tools. So we have update name, use this tool to rename a photo. We have merge images, use this tool to combine two images into one, retrieve raw files, use this tool to locate image files that the user has uploaded previously. We have find images, use this tool to find AI generated images, and so on and so forth. And next, right underneath this, I just have some instructions. So when playing out with this, I noticed some different things that the AI were not doing correctly or was doing correctly. And I just wanted to reinforce that. First, we have when the user provides a photo, prompt them with, what would you like me to name that photo in your Google Drive? After they reply, rename the file using the update name tool. Then we also have the second one, just telling the AI agents that they should always be sharing that Google Drive link so the user can easily just click on that and get access right away. And thirdly, we have do not include your internal reasoning or thought process in the output. Because I enabled return immediate steps, sometimes it gives me the whole thought process and I do not need that. So I just make sure to include this to say only provide the concise response that the user needs. And coming out of this, we can then look at the tools we have over here. So first tool we have is the update name. And here you just want to connect your Google credentials. And for the tool description, we want that to be set automatically. So we want the AI agent to use the prompt we've given us to be intuitively able to set that tool description. The resource, we want it to be file. For the operation, we want it to be update. And then the file to update, we want that to be defined by the AI model. Because when this runs, using the other tools it has access to, it can then query them and get the response that we need. And also the new updated file name, we also want that to be defined by the AI agent as well. Coming now, we have this retrieve raw files, and here you just want to connect your credentials. For the tool description, we have set automatically. For the resource, we have file/folder. Operation, we have search method, search file/folder name. And for the query, we just want to leave that blank. And here we want to just click on return all. So we want to return all the raw files. And here we have the folder, which is add media. And what we want to search is we want to search files. And here we just have some fields like ID, name, and web view link. And coming now to our third tool, we have find images. And here in find images, we want to find the images. So same thing, we want to connect our Google credentials, the tool description set automatically. We want the resource to be file/folder. We want the operation to be search method to be search file or folder name. We want it to be return all. And here we just want to connect that add media folder over here. And what we want to search is the files. And now let's look at these three powerful tools and exactly how I built them out in separate workflows. Also, if you like this video so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot to keep bringing out cool videos like this to help you guys on your AI journey. And all the resources mentioned in this video will be right below in the description. So make sure you check those out, and let's get back to the video. So first off, let's look at this merge images tool. So coming into here in our add creative generation system tab, I just want to look into this. So first we have the description. So this says, call this tool to combine two images. You must pass over an image generation prompt, the IDs of both the images and the title for this new image. And for the source, you want it to be database. For the workflow, you just want to select the exact workflow that you built that other workflow, the whole complete workflow that handles this in. And for me, that is merge images. And now we have the workflow inputs. So I just want to talk about something very important. So if you want to see your workflow inputs, what you have to do is when you come to the separate sub workflow and you come here to this when executed by another workflow, whatever you define here in this workflow input schema is what is going to appear over there as the workflow input. So you want to make sure you define these over here first, and then we can then define what we want them to be in the main workflow. So coming here after we've done that, we want here to be prompt and we want that to be defined by the model. So we want the model to decide exactly what should be here, but we do have some descriptions just to help the model out. So we have this prompt is for generating images. This should be tailored for AI images creation and should refer to the images solely as image 1 and image 2. The prompt must not include the -n, so that's a new line space or quotation marks. And then we have image 1, we have image 2, and the image title. And these are all the descriptions as well. So now coming to our merge images workflow, what we want to do is we want to come over here to this when executed by another workflow. And just as I said before filling out those input fields in the main workflow, you just have to define this here. So to add a field, you just click on add a field and you can put the field name and the type that you want the field to have. So coming after that, we want to then come to this edit field set node. So inside here, we just want images and we want the images to be presented as an array. So you just put them in like this, and then we want to split out. After that, we want to download the image file. So coming over here, we can just download, and we want the ID to be json.images. And here we're going to download the file. After that, we want to get the URL, because how we get this, we wouldn't get it as a URL, but in order for us to be able to pass it to NanoBanana to then create these images, then we need to send it a URL. So we just come here, and what I'm using here to convert this into a URL is IMGBB. So you can just check them out and get your credentials, and you want to set those credentials. So coming here, we want the method to be post. We want the URL to be this. We want the authentication to be generic credential type. And no worries, you're gonna get access to this complete workflow. So if you just wanna download the workflow, that is totally okay as well. And now we have this generic auth type. And what I'm doing here basically is I'm using authentication, but in a way that I'm not exposing my credentials. So you'd come here and you choose query auth. And when you come here to query auth, you just want to create a new account. So you'd come here, create your credentials, and now we want to send the body. So here we just want this to be form data, want the parameter type to be any and binary file, and we want the name to be image and input data field name to be data. Next, coming here, we want to aggregate. So we want it to look exactly like this. And now we want to generate our image. And in this node, I'm accessing NanoBanana using KaiAI. So you can just go over to KaiAI, sign up, and you want to get your credentials. So here we have KaiAI. So you can head over here, create an account, and you should get your API keys because we're going to use them in the next step. So coming over here where we have generate image with NanoBanana, I'm going to click in. And you want this to be post. You want this to all be like this. But just a trick that you can use is you can come over here to KaiAI and you want to select NanoBanana API. Once you come over here, you want to go to this area here that says API. When you click on that, you just want to scroll all the way down. And here we have this thing that says request example. And here we can see we have the C URL. So you just want to copy that and you're going to come back to your node and you're going to import C URL and you're just going to basically paste what you got from over there and put it in here and everything should be good to go. And you just want to set this up like this and it should look exactly like this. Awesome. So now we want to do a bit of polling because when we generate these images, it takes some time for us to get the final generated image. So we have polling going on here, which is where we wait 10 seconds. And after that 10 seconds, we call KaiAI, have you generated this image? And if it says yes, then we go on to download the image and then upload the file and give our result back to the main workflow. But for example, let's say it's not yet generated, then we have a false, then it come back here and go back to this spot again. It wait for 10 seconds, it asks KAI for a response. If not, it come back over here and it goes on and on and on until the image is generated and ready for us to download. So coming over here, we want it to be set up exactly like this. And for the generate image, so just like before, the same way we did previously, we want to come here to NanoBanana in KAI. And here in KAI, we want to come over here to this query task get. And just like before, we can scroll all the way down and we can see the request example, copy paste, and just import that into that node. So once that's done and everything looks good, you want to then set up your if, and you just want that if the json.data.state is equal to success. So whenever the image is generated, we get this state that says success. And whenever we want that, we know everything's good to go. So we want to move on to next step. And coming here, we download the image like so. And next, we just want to upload that file and give our results back. So here we have the message for the results. So the image was created and named this. Here is the link to the image in Google Drives. And we just get that web view link. So now for our next tool, we have the image editor. And just coming into here, we have the description for the tool, and then we have the workflow. So you want to select that exact workflow. And just like before, you would go to the workflow and define the workflow inputs, and these should appear here where you can then set it up exactly like this. And coming into image editor, we can see it's very similar to the last one we just saw. So same process. You want to download the image file. You want to get the URL. You want to generate the image with NanoBanana. So exactly the same thing as before. You want to do the polling, exactly the same thing, download, upload, and respond. So it works exactly the same here. So you can just look at this and follow the steps as well. And now for our last tool, the video generator. So this is where we use VEO3 to then generate these videos. So coming over here, we have the description. We want the source to be database. We want the workflow to be video generator. So our exact workflow. And just like before, you want to define the workflow inputs in the sub workflow and they would appear here. So you can just handle them like before. So now going into the video generator sub workflow, we have first the when executed by another workflow. And here we just define our input schema. And next we want to download the file. So just as before. And coming here, we want to get the URL. So just like before, we need a URL to be able to pass to KAI to VEO3 to be able to generate our video. So we want to get that URL and it's essentially the same thing as last time. So make sure all your fields are set like this. Next, we want to analyze the image. So what's really important is that when we were doing the demo, we're given a really, vague prompt. So we want our system to be able to enrich this prompt and make them really powerful. So we get good ad creatives and we get good video quality. So here we have this as the prompt and we have our image URLs as the input type. And we want to put the URLs just here like this. Next, we want to come to VEO3 from KAI. And just like last time, like we did with NanoBanana, you want to come to KAI and you want to go to AI Video API. You select VEO3 and here in VEO3, you're able to see the VEO3 API documentation and we just want to go over there. So now we have generate VEO3 AI video and you can see over here, we have the curl. So you can also copy the curl like before and import that into your workflow. So coming back here, we want to set that up and we just want our JSON to be structured in this manner. Awesome. And now we want to put a wait. So here our wait kind of serves a different purpose. So before we're doing the polling method, which is where we wait for a while, ask for a response and keep on going like that. But in this case, the wait acts a little bit different. So coming into the wait, we have resume on webhook call. And we want this to be HTTP method and response goes 200. And we want it to respond immediately. We also have the respond data over here. So basically what this does is once KAI with VEO3 is done generating the video, it would give a response code of 200. And once it has a webhook call of that 200, this wait would then execute and it will continue with the next steps. So we don't have to do that whole polling situation again. We just have to wait and ask. So in the other size, if you want to replace it with this, feel free to do that as well. And next, we want to download the video. So just as before, and upload that file to our AI generated content folder. So we just have that looking like this as well. And next we have this edit field sets, which is where we're able to craft a response, and it looks something like this. And next we just want to send a text message back to us on Telegram telling us that we have generated the video. So now I want to talk about why we have this Telegram over here. So the way it worked in the other sub workflows when we had the polling is that when we execute the last node, then the data from the last node is returned to the main workflow. However, when you're using this method of on webhook call, it takes this wait over here as the last node. So it doesn't send back the final data that we have to send over here. So you have to keep that in mind when you're structuring your workflow. So in that case, because we want that end result to get to Telegram, that is why we then send it back to Telegram over here. Awesome. So now I want to talk about pricing and how everything works with Kai AI. So let's talk about pricing in NanoBanana here in Kai AI. So we can see that the NanoBanana API costs 4 credits per image at 0.02 cents. So I think that's a really good price point for the image that we're generating and the quality. So it just depends on you, but this is what we have with Kai AI. And that is it, how to build your own AI ad creative generation system. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any question at all, make sure you leave them in the comments below. All the resources will be in the description, so make sure you check them out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.